what's also interesting is that the focus on India globally, just of course because of our economy, we're the bright spot in the global economy. Everybody's saying it's India's decade, but also diplomatically. I mean, we've seen a huge shift really in India, as seen as the foreign minister has been saying, that we no longer believe that the Western models of foreign policy should apply to the world. Do you think India's G20 presidency at this point is key in that, especially given the current Russia-Ukraine perhaps a stalemate which you're having to deal with in various statements as well?
So we've put out a very ambitious agenda. Our priorities are very critical for the world. We talk about accelerated, inclusive and resilient growth because it's important to understand that 1/3 of the world is suffering from actually slowdown of growth. The post-COVID era has seen 200 million people go below the poverty line. So 100 million people have lost their jobs. So you need to accelerate growth. You need to accelerate sustainable development goals. We are midway through that point. Instead of progressing, the world has regressed because of COVID and because of inflation rates in the western part of the world. We also need to push for digital transformation, and in what India has done in terms of digital public infrastructure is very unique. If you look around the world, you find that about 4 billion people do not have a digital identity. 2 billion people do not have a bank account. 133 countries do not have fast payments. So much of this model can be replicated in many of the emerging countries of the South. And then one of the key priorities of the Prime Minister also has been women-led development, and I think it's important because in India today the latest NFHS survey shows that there are more women than men in India, and I think they have to become a very important driver of improving learning outcomes, health outcomes, and as drivers of economic growth. It's very, very critical to my mind. It will be very difficult to grow at high rates of 9 to 10% over a long period of time because without women being put into leadership positions.